Hi there, crafty friends. Welcome and thank you for joining me. My name is Melissa, and today we are going to make this super cute, super easy surfboard birthday card. So when I saw this set, I knew I wanted to make some more masculine cards with it. I got the stamp set, the coordinating die, and the stencils, but we're not using the stencils. We're just using 3 of the surfboards and the die. Everything else is just paper that I had in my stash. I wanted to go with a retro type look, and I think I came pretty close here with this one. I'm loving how it turned out. This is perfect for any guy in your life that you need a birthday card. I'm running short on masculine birthday cards. And I actually had to send one of our camping people a less than masculine birthday card. He loved it, but I felt bad because I was all out of masculine cards. So I am using very vanilla here. I'm actually using all Stampin' Up! Paper because I still have so much of it in my stock, and I didn't want to go out and spend the money on more paper when I still have all this. So that's what we're doing. We're using all Stampin' Up! Cardstock, and I will have all the colors listed in the description along with all the items that we're using today. So let's go ahead and get started. First, we need to heat emboss our surfboards. So for this, I am just wiping my surface with the powder. I've got my Versamark, and I re-inked my pad here the other night, so I hope it works a little better. We don't necessarily want to push down too terribly hard because we don't want really thick lines, but we do want good lines. I don't want to distort those lines for the embossing powder. I don't want it to get too thick. So I'm thinking, let's take a look. You can, if you tilt it, you can see it. I do need a little bit more embossing powder on this one with the palm trees. And I decided to go retro. These surfboards, they reminded me of growing up, being a teenager in the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s. We used to go to the beach all the time. We lived about 20 minutes from the beach. My girlfriend and I would get a ride to the beach, and then we'd spend the whole day there, which was a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and move this over. We need to now add our powder, and I am using Brutus Monroe Gilded, but whatever you have in your stash will work. We're just going to get some embossing powder on there. Don't forget to like and comment on this video, please. I would appreciate it. I think that looks pretty darn good. Let's go ahead and get this back in there. And we can heat emboss. And as soon as that powder turns shiny, you are done. Let's go ahead. We're going to clean this, and we need to do our sentiment. I know I have shown this before, but I just wanted to go over it again real quickly. Just if anybody is ever having any problems heat embossing on dark cardstock, this is just something to keep in mind. So for our sentiment, I am just using Happy Birthday. This is from Pinkfresh Studio. This is Simply Sentiments. And this stamp set was given to me by Firefly Farm. So let's go ahead and get that happy birthday out of there. I have used it quite a bit. I do like this happy birthday. It is just a plain, simple sentiment. So we're going to go ahead and get that in there. And when you use your powder, whatever powder you use, whether it's in a bag or if it's in something like this, you just want to tap on there on the dark cardstock. You don't necessarily want to scrape the bag or even this foam on there because you can risk scratching your cardstock and you don't want to do that. So let's go ahead. We will ink up this sentiment. And since there is quite a bit of powder on there, I do like to ink it up a couple times, at least 2 or 3, just so I can make sure that there is plenty of ink for that embossing powder to stick to. And I think that's probably pretty good right there. Let's go ahead and get some powder on this. Just like that. And sometimes after I put one coat on there, I do like to put another coat and just kind of move it around a little bit. Just make sure it gets in all those little nooks and crannies where there is ink. I think that's good. So let's go ahead and heat this up. That sentiment heated up beautifully. So now what you want to do is you need to let that cool just a couple minutes, and then you can take whatever towel, microfiber rag that you may have and just wipe that powder off, and that's perfect. That came out beautiful. And then just go ahead and trim it out and you'll be all ready. But our next step is to go ahead and color. So let's do that. I am just using, I didn't have a dark brown in my Copics that I liked, so I'm just using my Tombow alcohol marker. It's number P879, and we are just going to color in our images. Super simple, nothing fancy. Let's see, and I just did minimal. I didn't want my image to be super dark, so I'm just doing minimal coloring. So our images are all colored, basic coloring, nothing fancy. Now we can go ahead and get these die cut. And this card was so simple. It took no time at all. Let's go ahead and get these images die cut. It is super easy to line up. Just like that. So I die cut my images and I went ahead and put some foam tape on the back of each one. I also trimmed out my happy birthday, got some foam tape on the back of there. So let's go ahead and get started on our panel. So what I like to do here is I've just got a piece of scratch paper. This was came with my Misty, and it's got grids on it. And I know that my paper is 4 1/4 this way, so I'm just going to line that up. I put a little mark. I've got 2 inches at the top, 2 inches at the bottom, and then 1/4 of an inch right there in the middle. I've got a whole bunch of pieces of paper that I just trimmed to 1/4 of an inch. So whatever colors that you decide to do for your color scheme, you can do. So I'm just going to put I always do that. I'm just going to put a thin little row of glue down there, and then I can line this up perfectly with the grid paper, and I know that it will be centered, and that is going to stick to the glue, and then I can just move up and down on the paper with my pattern. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll add some more glue. Let me look at my sample here. What do we have? Then we have the cream color, and we're just going to butt these up to each other, just like that. And we'll add a little more glue, and we'll do a couple more rows. It does not need a lot of glue, and this is so easy. So now we need our yellow. Just kind of butt that up. Perfect. Just like that. Just like that. So we've got one section all done. Let's go ahead and do the other section. And just like that, we are done with our background. So let's go ahead and trim this down. I just take it in my trimmer, turn it upside down, make sure the edge is lined up with that edge of the cardstock, and they just cut right off. Perfect. And that way you don't have to worry about using your scissors. This just is perfect, nice and quick. And we are ready to assemble. So let's go ahead. We need our T ruler. I am going to, it looks like we're a little off. Is that off? This side is a little bit bigger. So let's put our sentiment down here. I must have gotten off somehow, but that's all right. We need a little bit more room for our sentiment, so that'll work. Bring in our T ruler, and we just want to center this. I need my tweezers. Just like that. That's perfect. Now we can add our surfboards. This card was so simple, and I'm really loving this retro color palette. It reminds me of the old Padre logo. They're old colors. And I'm going to put this one kind of at the top of the brown on the bottom. And then my other surfboards, I will put up a little bit lower. Kind of like that. Put them at an angle just to give it a little bit of personality. So please make sure you comment. Let me know what you think of this card. I knew I wanted to make more of a masculine card with it. I never surfed. I'm clumsy. I have 2 left feet. I typically walk into a wall at least once a week. I have no coordination. Surfing would not have worked out for me. So let's go ahead and add this to our card base. For my jewels, I am using Pinkfresh Studio in the gold pearls. And I think I added 11 on there. And there we go. A quick and easy retro surfboard birthday card. I think that came out so cute. Now, I really like the minimal coloring. I did do a couple others. On this one, I did my coloring with the same color as my layering pieces there, as my stripes, but I don't know. I like it, but I really like the minimal coloring. Same thing here. I alternated light brown with that darker brown, and that one came out nice too. On those two, for my jewels, I picked this up somewhere, I'm not real sure, Bow Bunny Brighton rhinestones. And although I like the rhinestones, it's not real masculine. So that's why we went ahead and we added pearls to this one. And then I've also got one that I did in blue. I didn't have a dark blue Copic, so I used the darkest I had. And that came out nice. I like it. I do like it, but I'm in love with the retro look. So let me know which one is your favorite. Thank you so much for spending time with me, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.